Okay, so we're back, and I hope you've had a good 10 days. We've been away in the Maldives surfing on a boat, fantastic boat. It's called the Ocean Divine. It's just got to be one of the most kind of luxury boats out there. Surf was good to great, not epic to awesome, but that's fine. The people we were with were epic and awesome. So I'll post some shots. If you want a recommendation on a boat and a little bit more about surfing in the Maldives, I'll put something up kind of in the next couple of days on that. Anyway, in the meantime, while we've been away, a lot has happened. So I'm just going to run through my charts, show you this setup into this kind of waterfall decline that we've had over the last 3 or 4 days, because it was a nice one. So we'll start off first of all with the longer term charts, the daily, the 135-minute and the 45-minute charts. I know I say this all the time, but there's a ratio of 3, a multiple of 3 between each of these time frames, so it allows us to kind of focus in and get into the cycles in different time frames. And what was nice was this was the top up in the 2120 type area was a triple resistance. So you can see here on the daily chart, resistance coming in 2120. On the 135-minute chart, resistance coming in here after exhaustion buy and bearish divergence, and it was a pullback to end of trend, resistance coming in at the same level there. And I say pullback to end of trend, so when a trending move syncs up with a cyclical move on the higher time frame, so a trending move syncing up with a cyclical move, you've got a high probability trade. And then we had just a beautiful kind of line up with the 135-minute chart, so that signaled the top on there, and that's led to this kind of decline. So we had a break into a trending move on the 45-minute chart below cyclical support here, bang, and that's the move that we've had. I think it's about 70 points kind of top to bottom here over the last 4 or 5 days, from exhaustion buy to exhaustion sell, kind of down here. But before this is over on the downside, we've got to do a couple of things. We've got to put in a pullback to end of trend on the 45-minute chart. We've also got to put in support on the 135-minute chart, and maybe even support on the daily chart. So that's what I'm looking at kind of going forward over the next several days. It's still going to be weak until we see those patterns kind of emerging on the downside. Now, I always say that the 45-minute chart is very similar to the 40,500 tick bar chart, and here it is here, pullback to end of trend with a couple of flush patterns at the top, all those blue professional up bars. This is the last video I did where we had talking about a triple break into a trending move on Thursday the 18th of June, all these blue professional bars into the high taking profits, and I said this move on the upside was not over until we saw pullback to end of trend on the 40,500 tip bar chart. So go check the last blog post just to check that out, and that's exactly what we had. Pullback to end of trend, weak amateur up bars kind of up here, and as soon as we're dropping through support, bang, we're into a big trending move on the way down. So now we've had with Monday's activity, exhaustion sell, blue professional bars kind of coming in here, you know, around this 2050 level is going to be kind of key going on. But again, just like this 45-minute chart, it is not over until we see pullback to end of trend. You know, on the 45, we're probably going to have to see an exhaustion reading. That 51,000 might be enough for an exhaustion reading on the 45-minute chart. We've got an exhaustion here for a left shoulder. We're finding a little bit of support kind of down here. But pullback to end of trends, what have we got to be looking for on the 40,500 tip bar chart before this kind of weakness is over and a little bit of a rally back. So that's kind of the bigger picture and the way this thing lined up really nicely, topping out at 2120. So of course we're on a boat in the middle of the Indian Ocean with very, very patchy internet connections. I was not daring to trade during that, but we got back late Monday Sydney time, and so I was able to trade the open on Monday, which was kind of exciting. We had, because this is, if we go down to the 4,500 tip bar chart, just look at the whole of yesterday's Sunday into Monday's activity. This was the close around Friday. This was the overnight open on Sunday, where we had, you know, all the bad news out of Greece, and you know, we kind of gap down, major gap down. And of course the pros aren't going to let us get away with that. We're not just going to like drop to 2050 and then just like, you know, go from there, continue down. They're going to fill the gap, and that's exactly what they did. They pushed it all the way back up, I think within about 3 points of the low on Friday. So the high here made in the first 35 minutes or so of the day, kind of just within 2 or 3 points. That's when they're anxious to kind of sell down here. and took us into a trendy move on the way down. We've still got to get a little bit of weakness out of this chart, so expecting a little bit of follow through kind of first thing on Tuesday, which will be a pullback to end of trend. That's why I've kept better sine wave on here. We've got a cyclical cross happening here, got a little bit of rallying activity kind of going on after hours pre-open, and then as soon as we put in that little cyclical resistance, it will be a pullback to end of trends where we test down into that kind of 2050, 2048 type number down there, and we see what we do. We could break it a little bit, kind of freak some people out, get some real kind of exhaustion, panic type selling, from which we could have a little bit of a rally or some kind of temporary kind of little hold for us there. On the 1500 tip bar chart, let me just show you that kind of quickly. So this is kind of the detail on this. There's that almost gap fill, between the low on Friday and the little intermediate high here made on Monday morning, and that was the overnight kind of activity there, pre-open activity, and it was kind of patchy on the way down in terms of it was bumpy on the way down rather than on the 4500 tip bar chart. It's a nice clean kind of, we top out a little bit over the end of trend signal and then we kind of break into this. It looks like a really kind of smooth kind of break. On 1500 tip bar chart, we actually were continually batting backwards and forwards, kind of breaking through these levels. But this early activity, you can see rising up into exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, a nice flush pattern kind of going on here. This is the amateurs going long at that point, then kind of getting stopped out on the way here. Amateur down bars. This thing isn't going to take off properly. We've not had blue professional up bars at 1500. So coming into that high, there were no blue professional bars. These are all amateur down bars and Rambo patterns. Remember, Rambo is potential reversal of amateur breakout. A breakdown here of the amateurs. They're going short at this point, saying this thing is going for broke. No, it's too early. They are too early at this point. We've got to come back up. Blue professional bars come in. Let me just zero in on this. Here's blue professional bars kind of coming in, selling it down. We come back up. Amateurs getting wrong-footed here. Amateurs going long at this point, and then the professionals come in, sell it down. Bang. We're off. At this little rise, we bang, professionals down. This one here, blue professional bar going through the lows, and then this one's the really breakdown level at 70, 71 kind of here. Bang, 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 come in. The amateurs kind of getting wrong-footed again on this little rise, we just continue down, 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 down. So it was kind of jerky on the way down. I wasn't trading it, but just looking at the patterns on the chart, it's kind of jerky on the way down. But just note, you can see the weakness in the charts because all the support levels are kind of getting broken on the downside. Support's broken, support's broken, support's broken. We're bouncing at this point off these resistance levels here. And I mean the same type pattern you can see on the daily chart. You can see here the last sequence that we had, we bounced off support, so the market's fairly strong. We've gone through resistance, so that shows we overshot resistance on the upside by a little bit, which shows the market is strong. We bounced off support. We had no little breaks of support, so that shows the market is strong. But as soon as we get a resistance level that we can't break through, that shows the market's just kind of exhausted a little bit, and then we break through support. We show the breaks through support. That shows the market is weak. We come back up to a resistance. We bounce straight off resistance like this one, showing again the market is weak at that point because we're coming through supports and we're bouncing off resistance straight away. That shows change in attitude. The market is weak after that. This is still strong. We're still breaking through resistance, but as soon as we can't break through resistance, it's like, we're in balance here. That's not good. And then we break through support. Market's weak. Break off resistance. Market is still weak. So you can see the same things kind of going on when this trend kind of starts to develop on the downside. You can see here we're breaking through resistance a little bit here, a little bit here. Then as soon as we start breaking supports, bang, 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 the market is weak and it's going to take us down and down and down until we see pull back to end of trends at the end of the day. I mean, what was this? This was 11 a.m. Kind of around here. We're still making kind of new lows for the day. It's not going to be a reversal day. We're just going to continue on down and down and down until we see exhaustion, sell, blue professional bars kind of coming at lows, taking profits here, taking profits at the end of the day. kind of down here. So that's the way it kind of played out today. So at some point we need to talk about the bond market, kind of the big picture on the bond market, and then at some point we need to talk about what's happening with the euro and the pound and the Japanese yen and the dollar index, because they're kind of interesting moves kind of going on. But I just wanted to talk about the setup into this kind of waterfall decline that we've had over the last several days, being nicely set up with this kind of 45-minute chart and the 40,500 tip bar chart. So I hope everybody kind of got on board some of this nice kind of sell-off activity. I'll tag on my trade. I only took 2 trades for the first 20 minutes or so of the trade. Kind of the second one was a nice one, where I kind of made my money for the day and was happy with that. Anyway, so hope your trading is going well, and looking forward to some interesting trading this week. Okay, just reverse, gone long 75.25, long 75.25, just checking stops and targets, and markets jumping around like bloody Mexican bean. So I'm going to move that out 81.25. Alright, so I jumped out of that short trade, did not want to break at 73. I was trying to get short into a double, didn't work, and we immediately got this little kind of cluster of blue professional bars, and we bounced off that. So we got a double bounce, and we're getting a break above resistance here into a trend move here. So these blue professional bars kind of dipping down here, they've held. We broke above the highs of that. That was the trigger to get in, and now we're breaking into an uptrend move here on the 500. So this is we've got a break here on resistance on the 45. We're going to have resistance print soon on 1500. It's one of those kind of huge monster gap downs. We've just been closing the gap. At some point we'll find an area where we'll sell back down again, but I want that now to be up above this 79 level. So let's see if this is going to hold. We've got to be really careful here because we didn't want to go anywhere past 78, so we've got a Rambo pattern in here, this amateur up bar on 1500. Because we got exhaustion buy, that was a gap up. Because we got exhaustion buy kind of here, that's all. Here we go. This could be it. This is almost getting the move going at that point. That exhaustion buy. So to end the move, we should get another kind of exhaustion buy. This is pullback to dirty end of trend. Okay, blue professional bar jumping through resistance. That's jumping the creek. Excellent. Okay, so my target's sitting 81.25. I'm going to leave it there. Just at some point we'll reach an extreme and kind of come back down. But it would be nice to see like a 3000 type reading, even a something decent on 1500. What was this? This is pre-open reading. It was only about 4000. So something nice to get a change of trend going would be like a 6 or an 8000 type reading. So no blue professional bars here. Rambo patterns again on the upside, but all we need to see some more blue professional bars, maybe another little pullback and a trend. It's a decent reading but wasn't extreme. A bit of a fake out move. We kind of pushed down really hard into 76s, but bouncing straight back. Going above this high would maybe trigger some kind of running of stops or something like that. The closing the gap type number, this one's going to be key, 78.75, kind of low from Friday. Did I read that right? Yeah, I did. The low is 86.25, so around 86. That'll be a closing the gap type scenario. So I'm at up bar, that's weak. I'd like to see an exhaustion pattern. That blue professional bar is still holding, we're still above it. So continue to hold. Bingo, just taken out. 81.25 for 6. Excellent, and happy with that. The first trade was a loss of 2.25. So I'm up 3 3/4, which is quite nice in 2 trades. 8:46 am. Was going to be a rocking kind of morning because a of all the news events. But there we go, there's an exhaustion pattern. I'm out too early, it'll probably go higher because we've not seen any blue professional bars on 1500. But it was an explosive kind of move here. We've got a bunch of blue professional bars on 500, but none on 15 yet. But it's kind of, I don't know, it's a closing the gap type trade, so the interesting one's going to be on the Rus, but I'm not going to trade it. I'm going to my bed. Just got back from the Maldives a few hours ago, but I wanted to trade the Open. Yeah, 82s, there's more in it. Never mind. It was a good one. So, done.